apologize. I'm starting a little behind schedule. I now call this meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Freiberger, will you lead us in that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fabio, will you lead us in the invocation, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for blessing us with another day. We just ask that you be with us, give us wisdom and the guidance to do the business of the county. We just ask that you protect everyone who works for us, give them a great day, and Father, just help us to be examples and outreach to the people of our communities. In Jesus' name. Amen.
We will begin with the approval of the minutes for February 2012. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will now go to approval of the minutes for February 16th, 2012 special meeting.
Actually, Madam Chair, I apologize. I did not write minutes for that meeting. I have notes on them, and I will have them ready for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we will wait for those minutes for the next meeting. We will now go to approval of the meeting agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll now go to approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will now go to public requests. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for 2 minutes on any item not currently published on the agenda? Okay, thank you. We will now go to commission matters, item number 1. Resolution 2011-06, imposing annual liquor license tax upon state licenses issued under the Liquor Control Act. Linda Kaiser, who will be presenting that for her, Michelle. Okay.
Commissioners, County Manager, Linda asked that I present this. This is the annual resolution allowing the state licenses to be taxed, the liquor licenses to be taxed. It is something that needs to be adopted annually, and so she's asking if you guys would consider it. I can read it into the record if you like.
What's the pleasure of the commission?
I'm fine with not reading it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will now go to item number 2, voting machine technician contract between Torrance County and Garin and Anaya.
Madam Chair, can you please table this item until the next commission meeting?
I'll ask for a motion to table. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. It's now been tabled. Item number 3, request use of the Torrance County Park by the Society for Creative Anachronism. Dennis Meyer. I tried. I'm so sorry. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
County Commissioners, County Manager, thank you very much for having me. Society for Creative Anachronism, we bring back the good things of the Middle Ages. And we've been using Torrance County Park for a number of years, and it's been a good partnership. What we've done in the past is we have hauled away several tons worth of trash and debris that accumulates at the park. Unbeknownst. People use it as a dump. So between the gun club and what they would like to see with the park and what we would like to do for you guys at the park, we take and do the trash, move it to the transfer stations and stuff like that. This year, we'd like to use the park for Memorial Day weekend, May 24th through 28th is the actual event itself. We'll have people on site from May 20th through the 29th. This is so we can do setup and we can also establish security. We repair the fence around the park. We start making sure that we have control over the event so we don't have fires cropping up like we had one time. We had people come on the park that were not part of our group, but they started some fires. So, by your pleasure, if you may use the park again. What we do is we have pretty much exclusive access to the northern end of the park, with the exception of the gun club. They're allowed, of course, to come on site and use the gun club at their leisure, at their leisure.
Well, Dennis, if I may speak first, I really don't feel comfortable with you guys using the park this year because you did not come in costume.
I apologize. I will make amends to that.
I have no problem with this. Is there any questions from the table?
Sheriff, last year, were there very many problems arose because of the amount of crowd in the park?
No, we've worked with this group for many years now, and they've always been a very responsible group. In fact, one of our only groups that are very, very responsible, handle things on their own, and make sure all the requirements are met.
No one beheaded or anything like that? Okay. Jason, on the fires at that time of the year in May, do you have any reservations or anything about them? I know last year we had the restriction of no fires.
Right.
And should we also put that restriction this year?
They're predicting a bad fire season as well again this year. We'll have to see how much rain we get prior to that. But they did really well last year with no fires as well.
And when you say, sir, that the park is used as a dump, are you talking about residents? Are you talking about people driving through just throwing trash out, or
TVs, mattresses, refrigerators.
in the park?
In the park.
Okay.
And it's a gorgeous park. We like it very much.
Okay.
And to get the trash and debris out of there, we don't mind doing that.
Okay.
We don't mind.
It's not your responsibility, though, but we do appreciate the offer very much.
And
Okay.
one of the things I'd like to offer the council and commissioners, if you would like, we have experts and also firefighter in our group. We were looking at the amount of grass and the low-hanging branches of the gamble oak and the juniper. We know that in other sites, they've taken chainsaws and lopped off the first 2 feet of branches. So the grass, if there's a fire, the grass will take it, but it won't come onto the tree because the limbs aren't hanging into the grass. We're willing to start that kind of a program with park where we can start trimming some of the lower branches, giving sunlight to the grasses underneath so they can grow, and also prevent major fires. And park's never had a major fire, but we'd like to help prevent any possible fires down the road.
Good. Well, the sheriff has asked about letting me have a gun. Is there any problem with acquiring a sword?
No, sir. I'd be more than happy to put a sword. Oh, no. Oh.
I have no problem, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, can I make one comment? As usual, you guys have to submit a certificate of liability insurance to us.
Yes.
You guys always do that every year.
Right.
That's remains.
I'll be more than happy to. And on Wednesday or Thursday, if anybody would like to come out and see what this is all about, I would be more than happy to give you a tour. And for you, sir, if you would like to dress up in armor, I'm sure we can give you a sword and armor. And
I don't need no armor.
oh, yes.
No, that's fine, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, thanks again for being here. We are now at the table for a motion. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Have a great event. We now move to item number 4, issue of emergency response time by Superior Ambulance to the Florion, Tajique, and Manzano areas. It looks like this was at the request of John Perea. I don't see him in the audience, but possibly Jason may have a comment on that. Morning.
Morning, how are y'all? I'm not real sure why John requested to get on the agenda. I don't know what there is an issue with superior response times right now. They've got a new rule. They're not to go more than 10 miles an hour over the speed limits, code 3 or not. So I'd imagine they had a incident down there with a chainsaw where a lady cut herself, and it took them 30 minutes longer than it took me to get down there. So I'd imagine why that's what that stemmed from. Not real sure why. I haven't talked with John.
Okay. Since he's not here, I entertain a motion to table item number 4.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Do the same for five.
Yes, please. I will call for a motion to table item number 5.
So
Unless you, Jason, did you have any comment on item number 5?
I can do it now, or I can do it with my department updates if you'd like.
Okay, why don't we table this since it was at the request of Mr. Perea, and then we can hear from you on your update. Okay, is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We will now go to item number 6, recording infrastructure in commission chambers.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I was tasked with I'm trying to find what I'm looking for. We were asked to see what it would take and what it would cost to get recording cameras and voice recorders in the commission room to actually formally record the county commission meetings. I cannot seem to find my quote. I apologize. But we had a vendor come into the commission room and look at what was required as infrastructure in the commission room. The cameras and recording devices will cost, Nick helped me with this and he's not in the audience, but they cost about $3,000, and a computer to actually operate the cameras costs another $700. So it's total about $3,700 to put the recording equipment in the commission room to professionally, more or less, record commission meetings.
And who is the vendor that provided the quote?
LoboNet, internet provider.
Okay, thank you. We are now at the table for comment or questions.
Madam Chair, I am the one that requested to see, after several YouTube editing and different things that have been going on, I asked for a true and accurate recording of the commission to where it can go on our network and the public can have the access to see what actually happens at the commission in its entirety. And so I would make the motion that we approve the recording equipment.
Okay, Commissioner Davia?
I am also in favor. I think that if we're going to do this, it needs to be done right, and it needs to be posted on our website where we are able to manage it. My only question and concern is the dollar amount. I didn't just think it would be that much.
Well, the quote that Linda Kaiser got a couple of years ago was $20,000. So we're a lot better off, and we've actually gotten 3 written bids for this, and Lobo was the low bidder. I did find my quotes. The parts, it's actually $3,185 for the infrastructure, and that's wiring and recording in 2 cameras, a camera to be located in this corner and one up there. In addition, we have to have a computer that will actually pan and zoom the cameras and switch the cameras, which will be operated by the clerk's office taking the minutes. And that camera, the quote for that computer is $1,083. So that's actually the lowest price we were able to obtain.
Okay, thank you. We're now at the table for a motion. Did you make one already, Commissioner Freiberger?
Yes, I did.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We now go to item number 7, Resolution 2012-07, Recording Policy.
And Madam Chair, this is probably not ready to approve, but in addition to having the cameras installed in the commission room, we would need to adopt some sort of recording policy for anyone else who wanted to record or photograph within the meetings. And this is not specifically for a commission meeting, it's for any activities going on in this room, such as planning and zoning meetings could utilize it as well. So I was unable to find the type of policy that we wanted or that would work for our county anywhere else in the state. So I drafted this one, and it's probably not near as inclusive as it needs to be, and we probably need some input from legal.
Okay, it's still downloading on my iPad, and so I can't open it. Can you read it into the record as to what it says as of right now?
Sure. It says, whereas in order to maintain the proper decorum required for conducting the business of the county, while at the same time allowing members of the media or general public access to audio and visual recordings of the proceedings of the County Commission, the Torrance County Commission hereby adopts the following policy for the recording of any such proceedings. Whereas the County Commission has implemented a method of audio and visual recording for events within the County Commission chambers, including but not limited to commission meetings, and whereas these recordings will be available for the public viewing and or listening on the county website following the meeting or event. Now therefore be it resolved by the Torrance County Board of Commissioners that the public is strictly prohibited from operating audio and or visual recording devices within the commission chambers. Done this 22nd day of February 2012.
So it will be modified or added to from legal, or when will we see the policy again?
Ms. Ainsworth actually sent that to us well over a week ago. Unfortunately, we didn't get back to her. So it actually may have been almost 2 weeks ago, and I apologize for that. We'll have something ready for the next meeting.
And just to elaborate a little bit on what Carl explained the system will provide is that a link, the actual recording will be stored in his computer storage at LogoNet, so we won't have to provide additional storage. We will just have an HTML link to the meeting that will be on our website, so we could store as many meetings as we wanted a link to, so we could have a year's worth or 6 months worth or whatever staff feels is necessary. So it would be pretty simple. I have had some questions from the public if we could do some sort of live webcasting, and that might be something we can move towards in the future, but we don't have the budget to provide for that right now. So it would be available, though, upon completion of the meeting, as soon as the file can be closed up and sent in and they do their conversion, and it's posted on the website.
Okay, thank you. So since the policy is not currently ready, can I ask for a motion to table, please?
So moved to table this until the next commission meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will now go to item number 8, Resolution 2012-08, sign maintenance and retroactivity.
Madam Chair, at the last couple of commission meetings, we have discussed the requirements for sign maintenance and a retroreflectivity policy for the road department. We thought it would be redundant to have 2 policies, so we kind of combined them. I know that there are some questions of liability from legal, so I really didn't expect or anticipate that we would approve this today. I just wanted to get it on the agenda as discussion and some input from the road foreman and maybe some input from Dennis, and how do we move forward to get this adoptable, this policy. and this came up, the Association of Counties did about a year and a half ago draft a policy, which I took language out of that to put into this policy, requiring us to monitor signs and how often they're put up and replaced, and so for liability purposes, because the Association of Counties and the Insurance Authority has been hit with several lawsuits involving lack of signs.
Okay, thank you. We're now at the table for discussion.
Madam Chair, if I could request, I've been speaking with the Department of Transportation about the loan of a reflector meter, for lack of a better word, and they have agreed to it on a 30-day basis. They are putting new batteries and getting everything, and what we need is a letter from Joey. I can give you the gentleman to send it to.
Okay.
And requesting to borrow it, and then that way they can use a reflector meter. You'd have a month, you know, to do it for the signs in the county. And I believe that would establish a more defendable basis if we got into a lawsuit as far as being able to see a sign
Absolutely.
at night.
Because we identified the visual nighttime inspection for replacing the signs in this policy. So if they're willing to loan us a reflectometer, we would have to modify this language to reflect that. So.
Okay, after the meeting, I'll give the gentleman's name to send it to.
Excuse me, Commissioner, is that something that could be done on an annual or semi-annual basis, do you think?
Yes.
Because, and Martin and Leonard will certainly have more information on this, but Torrance County had a lawsuit that involved missing signs, but during the prosecution of that lawsuit, there were lots of signs that came up that had faded and,
Yes.
and weren't really effective for their purposes anymore. And I know I heard one of the guys from the road department say that they're using a new type of sign now, that maybe that's not as big a problem, but I don't know, how often would we need to use a reflectometer?
It needs to be done once a year. That's what the policy is going to say, and that's what they're asking for us. They want it yearly to be checked to see where we're at and what we need to replace. One of the questions that I've had on the signage is, and I can't get, nobody really answers it, is, I know we have to put signs on our roads, but what about stop signs and stuff that come off of private roads that come onto our roads? Is that our responsibility on them signs to get put up?
Are they coming onto county roads?
Yes.
Or the state road?
They're coming onto our county road off of a private road, like off a private subdivision or off of just an individual road.
The general rule on that is it's the entity that has the major thoroughfare has the obligation. I know we actually had another lawsuit that involved the state versus the county on who has that responsibility. So in your scenario, and this is just kind of a general statement because it might depend on circumstances, but in your scenario, the county would have that responsibility.
Okay, well, we're just because that's a lot of signage to have to put up. You know, we can barely keep up with signs on our roads, and now we're going to start putting it on every road that comes onto.
Do you have a copy of the manual on uniform traffic control devices?
I don't know if I do. I think I do in the office.
If you don't, I've got one in my office, and let me do a little looking into it and see if there's some type of, if it depends on the amount of actual traffic on a roadway. I just don't recall right now what might be, but I'll certainly help you research that.
That'll work.
Okay.
Mayor, the rule of thumb, if I may, the rule of thumb for it, whose responsibility is if it's in our right of way. Even though they may come off of a subdivision, if the sign has been located in our right of way, then we have the responsibility of it.
To install it.
And I know that applies to the state roads, but I can get you both updated copies of the MUTCD by Monday morning. So, and just chapter 6, that's the only thing that would apply.
That'll work.
And one other thing, Madam Chair, that we will have to look at during budget time is once this policy is adopted, we'll have to significantly increase the sign budget in the road department, because I think the sign budget right now is about $6,000, and I would say that at a minimum it would probably have to be tripled.
Yeah, because we're already over it by about that much.
Thank you. So it looks like I need to call for a motion to table this item.
So moved.
For a second. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We now move to item number 9. Torrance County Juvenile Justice Board request for vehicle. Pat?